Hello everybody and welcome to my presentation for my lab experiment involving 3 Aquafina purified water bottles at 16.9 ounces along with a couple of ice and bowls for the experiment. I did not get the results that I was hoping for, but as you can see through the experiment that I'm about to show you, it will kind of explain why. So right now all I'm doing is adding the super cooled water to just a glass because that is for the second experiment. Now for the first one, what we're doing is causing a physical disturbance of the water bottle that will create a chemical reaction that will freeze the water bottle. Now as you can see, it didn't do a whole lot, but it did kind of start a chemical reaction to start the freezing process. So that one did not work out, so we go to the second one. In the second one, we were attempting to seed. So we put the ice on top to see if the water would start a chemical reaction to freeze. As you can see, that one did not work out either. I was not doing very well with these experiments. I have a couple of theories, but we're going to go to the last one, which is the bowl. We're going to add the super cooled water to a bowl of ice to see if we can get it to work. Now, the chemical reaction was already taking place inside the water bottle. As you can see, there was ice buildup. The chemical reaction was very slight. It did freeze up a little bit, but not to the extent that we wanted. Now with those 3 experiments, the first one, for this experiment, we were trying to explain that liquid and solids react differently. So when water can remain a liquid as supercooled molecules at the liquid state, and they arrange themselves in a form of lattice, so they create a crystal. And when this crystal is formed, that is when the whole chemical reaction takes place and the entire water bottle goes to a state of equilibrium that will eventually reach 0. So pure water can remain a liquid under different circumstances. The first one, we were trying to create the crystal forming equilibrium reaction with the physical disturbance when I was just flicking the water bottle. And then if we move the molecules around, the physical distribution will form the crystal, which was what we attempted here today, although it did not work out in this one. So a couple of theories that I've been kind of working with was first off the freezer. So my freezer is from an apartment complex. It's probably decades old, and there was probably a lot of motion or vibration or just something that caused the chemical reaction to start earlier than when I planned on doing the experiment, which caused the water bottles to start creating the crystal molecules to try to reach that state of equilibrium so that they would hit that freezing point of 0 degrees Celsius. The other theory that I have is that the Aquafina water is not necessarily pure, so it might not be completely purified water, and in that case it could have messed with the results of the experiment. And the only other thing that I can think of is that I did not monitor the water bottles close enough, and I did not manage to get them to an actual super cooled state to where they would start freezing already before I started the experiment. Now most of the water was still super cooled, it was already starting the freezing component, so the experiment did not work out. This whole experiment, it was tested over, so the water bottles were put in the freezer for 2 hours and 45 minutes. Now I thought that would have been perfect, but obviously different freezers, different temps, different scenarios of many different things could have messed with the results of this test. So further experiments are needed to be able to prove this test so that we can prove that with super cooled water these different reactions occur with these 3 different experiments. Now for the future, I definitely have a plan on trying to keep these things a little bit more monitored, like watching the water more, making sure it's not disturbed before I start the experiment, making sure that everything is kind of set up properly. And that is my experiment. Those are my results. The reasoning for my results is due to the freezer, due to many other variables reacting with the water. And I thank you guys for listening. Thank you.